trying to go for like a witchy theme here. I don't really know if I'm succeeding. I have this necklace, I have these bat headband. I wanted to get a witch's hat, but the Halloween store that I went to only had like massive hats, and sorry, I really did not want to commit that far for this video. What is up, party people? Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Jamila. This is JemilaBeReadin, because I do be reading. And today we're reading some witchy books, okay? I wanted to get into the fall spooky vibes, so I thought, why not pick up some witchy books? I had some on my shelves, I had some on my e-shelves, so I thought, why not finally read books that I already own? So the first book for this video is going to be The xhex by Erin Sterling. This is an adult contemporary romance with some magic. We have our two protagonists, Vivian and Reese. They had a whirlwind summer romance back when they were in college. Things kind of fell apart. It was a bad breakup, and Vivian, in her drunken rage, decides that she's going to curse him. Not really thinking it was going to take, but lo and behold, it did. Not a spoiler, this was on the book flap. And so we skip forward 9 years. Reese is back in town, and he's going through it. A series of unfortunate events. They reconnect. They have to try to figure out a way to undo this curse, and of course, reconnect romantically as well. This one has been really popular on Bookstagram and Book Talk, so I'm excited to get to this one. The next book is The Nature of Witches by an author that I cannot recall right now, but you can see it here on the book. This is a YA contemporary fantasy that does a really interesting take on witches. So it seems like the witches' powers are tied to the seasons. And so they, for generations, have been helping to regulate the climate, but because of humans, as always, and climate change, they have been struggling to kind of keep up with the rate at which the climate is changing. We're following our protagonist, Clara, whose magic is tied to all 4 seasons, making her an ever. She is the first one to have appeared in like a century, I believe. And so she is struggling kind of like with the weight of the world on her shoulders. Her powers are really erratic, and she's trying to figure out how to control it. And, you know, she meets a boy, there's some romance. Really, one of the reasons why I decided to pick this up was because the cover is just really pretty. So there's that. Next up, we have The Year of the Witching by Alexis something. Wow, maybe I should have looked up these authors' names before I filmed this intro, but it is here on the title, on the book cover. This one came out last year and was really popular. This is a horror-ish type of a cult fantasy. It's set in this kind of puritanical, really religious town called Bethel. We're following Emmanuel, our protagonist. She is kind of an outcast and a black sheep in this town because her mother was known to have cavorted with Lilith and her magical coven in this dark forest. And so because of that, Emmanuel is kind of an outcast. She's trying to keep her head down. She's just trying to follow the rules and get through life. But things don't go that way. And so she's trying to navigate why she feels less drawn to this dark forest, what's really going on with this puritanical, religious, kind of culty situation. And yeah, I'm really excited for this one. It is so popular. So there's that. And the last book that I'm going to read for this video is Blood Like Magic by Lascelles Sambury. This is the first in what I believe is going to be a YA duology. It came out just this year. I've been hearing nothing but good things about this one, so I'm so excited. And also the cover. As y'all know, I'm drawn to covers. This one also has a really interesting premise. So we're following, sorry if I'm looking this way, I am trying to read the description. We are following Voya. She gets her calling, which is a trial that every witch has to pass in order to come into their powers. She fails but gets an unprecedented second chance, and in order to complete her calling, she has to kill her first love. But she hasn't fallen in love. So she has to like find someone to fall in love with, and then ultimately has to kill him, and she has to deal with this because if she fails, her whole family will be stripped of their magic. So there's a lot on the line, and also whomever she falls in love with, she has to kill. Sounds very dramatic. I'm so in. And like I said, I've heard nothing but good things about this one. So those are the 4 books that I'm going to be reading for this video. And let's hop into the vlog. My hair is just, my edge cream was just not working right today, clearly. Hello, I am starting this vlog in which I read witchy books. I decided to start off with the xhex. I have it here from Book of the Month. I was really excited about this one, and I gotta say I'm a bit disappointed so far. I'm only maybe like 100 pages into this book. It's taking me so long to get through this. I can usually just like sit down and read a romance in an evening, but it's been a few days since I last started this, and I am struggling to just remain interested in what's going on. So basically, this is following 2 POVs. We have Victoria and we have Rhys. Rhys? Rhys. Don't know. Victoria and Rhys. I'm just gonna say Rhys. No, Rhys? Rhys? Rhys. Rhys. I'm just gonna go with Rhys, I've decided. They had a whirlwind romance one summer during college. He ended up breaking her heart and yada yada. Victoria and her cousin curse him, not thinking, oh, by the way, there's magic in this. They're witches. They curse him not thinking that the spell worked, but now it's 9 years later. Victoria is a professor at the local college, and also Rhys's family founded this town in Georgia. They're also Welsh. Don't know why Georgia. Anyways, he's back to like charge the ley lines, and it's the 100-year founding of this town, so he's like here for the festivities, but it goes left real quick. He's just experiencing a series of unfortunate events, and now having tried to charge the ley lines messed up all the magic in town is what I'm assuming, and that's what's happened so far. And I think they have to work together to figure it out. And yeah, you would think this is like a fun, interesting premise, but I'm having a hard time staying engaged. I'm just like really bored, and I don't particularly care for either of their POVs, but whatever. I'm gonna finish it at some point. Hopefully soon, because I really want to get to some of the other books for this video that I'm much more excited about, and hopefully we'll have a better time of reading. But I'm gonna leave it at that, so. Ooh, this lighting is terrible. It is like nighttime. I'm about to go to campus. It's 6:40 because I have a 7:30 p.m. class. Terrible. And I'm a little bit greasy. Let's just ignore that for right now. I wanted to update y'all because it's been a few days, and I've also finished a book. So, firstly, I went to a pumpkin patch this weekend, and it was very lovely. Hello. Oh. You're stuck in this god-awful line. It's been so long. What was not lovely was the amount of waiting I had to do. So I don't know what was going on. The pumpkin patch that I went to was on Savi Island, and if you're from here, you know Savi Island is this island essentially, and there's really only like one way in and out. You can go like around the island to get to things, but it's very one road situation, and so many people were trying to go to the pumpkin patch, and I've gone like pretty consistently for the last few years, and it's never been like this. I don't know if people were just like excited because COVID or something, I don't know, but it literally took maybe 15 minutes to get to the island. But once we were on there, which should have been like maybe a 10-minute drive, took about 40 minutes to get to the pumpkin patch. So we're just stuck in this long line, and it was just absolutely terrible. When we got there closer to like sunset time. It was so beautiful. Like the sky was really showing out, and I got a new phone, and the camera quality is just, oh my god, like really, you'll see. The views were spectacular, okay? It was a good time. We waited a long time for food also, but it's fine. Good company, all of that. I finished the xhex. I didn't like it. Just gonna be upfront with that. I didn't like the xhex. I just had such a hard time getting through this book. At first, I was just really bored. And I kept getting distracted. And I thought maybe I just wasn't in the mood for reading. But I just could not get through this book. I eventually persevered and finished this book. But it was very boring. It was boring. And I didn't particularly care for any of the characters. I don't think we got great characterizations for either of our leads. Vivian, right? Vivian. And Reese/Riss. I don't know how that's pronounced. Very surface level, very like telling and not showing. I don't really know. This is a second chance romance also. They had like this, you know, whirlwind fling one summer 9 years ago, and they're reconnecting. And I mean, aside from like what they're telling us, the magic of their romance from the past, there's nothing that's like really like bringing them back together except for that, their memories, and also both of them are fucking horny. So it wasn't a very believable romance. I don't know why they liked each other. And then so basically Reese is cursed or whatever. There's like a curse. He's trying to charge the ley lines, and that curse ends up getting passed along to the ley lines. So the magic in the entire like town is corrupted and shit starts going down, right? Also, the world building, not great. Don't know how anything really works, and I guess maybe that's just whatever. It's a romance, it's not the focal point, but it was really irking me. And the ley lines are corrupted, and they have to fix it by a certain point. Especially there's this important thing that's gonna happen if they don't fix it. And so there's like this chapter, they're like, fuck, we gotta figure this out. Next chapter, a week went by and we were like madly in love. And I'm like, hello, don't you guys have to fucking fix the ley lines? Why are you just spending a week fucking around? Oh my god. It was absolutely ridiculous. Nothing in this book was believable. I didn't have a good time reading it. Sure, it had some great fall vibes, but oh my god, it was very stupid. That's how I felt. I've since started, what is it called? The Nature of Witches. Slow start. I'm not really a big fan of the main character right now, but it's fine. I'm like maybe 25% of the way through. I'm gonna read a little bit more tonight after I get out of class, and I'll update you then. Hi, it's been a while. It's been like a week and a half. I don't really have an excuse except it really just slipped my mind. I thought I had updated y'all, but I didn't. I have since finished 2 books. I started editing this video and I realized, oh, nope, I haven't actually talked about any of these books. So here I am, once again. I'm torn into pieces. Just kidding. I'm here to update y'all on these books. So, A Nature of Witches by an author. I don't know why, like, for the life of me, cannot remember what this author's name is, but I finished that book and I thought it was okay. I will say I'm a bit disappointed. I don't know. When a cover's really nice, I just have like extra expectations. Which doesn't make sense. There's really no correlation between book covers and the quality of the book, but what can I say? And you know, the thing is, the concept is so interesting too, like, you know, the magic being tied to the seasons and Clara being an Ever, but the actual like execution of this book didn't quite pan out for me. So I think I talked about this book in the intro. We have witches. We're set in like a normal, it's a contemporary novel. Clara is an Ever, meaning that her magic is tied to all 4 seasons. Her magic is really erratic. She is not fully in control of her powers, and she has a lot of trauma tied to that. So understandably, she's just like, she's not really into any of this. She doesn't really want to like learn how to use her powers. She's really secluding herself, because another thing about her powers is that it is seemingly tied to people that she cares a lot about. So if she like loses control, it just like attacks people. You know, the logistics really didn't quite make sense to me all that much, but she's lost people because of her powers. So she's just like kind of secluding herself. But she is the first ever to pop up in like a century. And it's particularly important that she learns how to use her powers and to use them because of climate change. Lots of witches are dying because they're overextending themselves trying to deal with unexpected like weather and storms and all of that stuff. So a lot of people are relying on her. It's just this whole thing, and again, conceptually it sounds really interesting, right? But execution didn't quite land, and I think it's just Clara was so in her head and kind of came across as like a bit bratty and selfish, which again, I understand she's young and also has dealt with a lot of trauma, but I don't know, it was just kind of frustrating to read. And there were people, like some of her friends, who were like actively challenging her, so I'm glad that that was there like on the page, but it was just a bit frustrating. And one thing too that really disappointed me was, again, because her powers are tied to all 4 seasons, I guess her personality kind of shifts every season to match, I guess, the personality of each season. And it's first person narration. And I thought it would have been interesting to see how her narration style and just thinking and voice changes with the seasons. But it did not. It remained pretty consistent throughout, which I thought that was a lost opportunity. That would have really drawn me in, I feel like. And just as in general, her narration voice is very like bland, and she's again like very emo. I'm like, I know I'm not the target audience for this book, and I don't particularly want to like dissuade anyone from reading this. I don't think it was bad. I just was disappointed. And that's partially because I hyped this book up a little bit too much for myself. It was fine. I thought the romance was cute. She had a nice character development throughout, but yeah. If you happen to be like the target demographic and you're watching this video, please go read it if you want to. Don't let me stop you. I am a grown woman and I'm not the target audience for this book. So I think that's part of the reason why it didn't quite connect with me either. But yeah. Okay, next up, I actually read The Year of the Witching. I went out and bought this after I read it because I really enjoyed it. So I read this, it was, when was this? On Sunday, this past Sunday. I read it all in one day. It was so engaging. This is like a horror fantasy where it's set in this like very religious, puritanical town called Bethel. Our protagonist is Emmanuel. She is kind of like an outcast in this town because her mom had extramarital relations or something with a Black man who's also an outsider. Blackness is definitely associated with like the devil and stuff in this society. So anyways, we have Emmanuel now. Her mother has since died for reasons, and she's living with her grandparents. We have the prophet, who is like this town leader. He's also the religious leader. His word is basically law. He has like a bajillion wives. It's very sus. But Emmanuel keeps getting drawn to this dark forest where it is known that Lilith and her like coven of witches, magical entities, are residing or had reside. And so Manuel's like, dang, like what's going on over there? Things happen. I don't really want to spoil this, but yeah, things happen. There's a dude who is the prophet's son and also the heir of this prophetness, who ends up like teaming up with Emmanuel. There are like secrets going on. They're like uncovering things because obviously it's like the super strict puritanical town. There's like lots of commentary on misogyny and the patriarchy, also on like racism. And I thought it just flowed really well. And it like worked in tandem with the more like fantastical elements of this book. The way that like Lilith and her coven are described was truly a bit terrifying. I had posted like an Instagram review of this book the other day, and I was saying like I could see this as a movie. I think it would be like really cool aesthetically. My vision of this is like, I completely fumbled what I was trying to say, but my vision of this movie would be an A24 film meets Guillermo del Toro. Amazing. But anyways, I really enjoyed this. I wouldn't say this is like a fast-paced book, but it was so engaging. Emmanuel, I think, was such a great character to follow. She's really interesting. And I am finding that I like stories where the protagonist is like from this very like strict upbringing and they're not trying to chafe against it at the beginning. You know, they are very much keep their head down. They are just trying to follow the rules, not make any waves, and just kind of get through life that way. And then slowly things start challenging their beliefs and they start challenging the system. And I like watching that growth. I think that's really interesting. Also in my Instagram like review, I mentioned that this Emmanuel kind of reminded me of the protagonist in The Gilded Ones. I forget, oh, Decca, I think is her name. It gave me similar vibes. So if you like The Gilded Ones, I think you'll like this one too, although tonally they're very different books. Well, maybe not quite. I don't know, but anyways, I really like this book. I recommend it. It was good. And I'm happy I finally read this because this one has just been sitting on my Kindle for a while and so many people have like talked about this and read it and I was like, God, when am I gonna get to this? So I'm glad I finally did and I have a copy of the book. I'm very excited for whenever the next book comes out, but yeah, that is The Year of the Witching. I have the final book here, Blood Like Magic by Lascelles Stanbury. I'm only like 50 pages in this. I'm hoping that I can finish this by tomorrow at the latest because I want to upload this video on Halloween Day on Sunday. Today is Friday. We'll see. This book is like bigger than I was expecting. It is like 450 something pages. It's almost 500 pages actually. But it's been very engaging so far. I also was not expecting this book to be set like in this like futuristic society. There's a lot of like, there's this company called New Gene, which is like this DNA genetics company that started off as something like Ancestry.com or 21andMe and like has since evolved. And there's like a lot of like high-tech stuff going on. It's really interesting. I did not think it was set in this town and I think it gives it a really interesting vibe. I was just expecting like our time right now with witches, but no, it's futuristic witches, which is interesting. But yeah, I'm digging this so far. I'm digging how gender inclusive it is in that just like pronouns and everything is just like already pronouns have been around. Respecting people's pronouns, I should say, is just like a normal part of life, which is nice to read about. But anyways, I'm enjoying this so far. I don't have much to say, but I'll update you as I get further along. So I'm reading and there's a part in here. So wait, hang on. This is a mess already. So this book is set in 2049. And so Voya, our main character, is 16, and she tells her grandma, oh, like, she was telling her something, and she was like, oh, you can change the settings on your feed, because there's like some high-tech situation, like your feed is like, it's like everyone can access it, but I don't understand. But her grandma was like, oh, well, how do I turn off this setting? And Voya's like, oh, well, just ask your AI assistant or something. And her grandma was like, nah, I'm gonna just Google it. I've been Googling since I was a kid, so I'm gonna just continue doing that. And I was like, oh no. In 2049, I'm gonna be 54 years old, which I think is younger, perhaps, than her grandma, or maybe around the same age. I don't know. But like, is that gonna be me? Am I gonna be saying, oh, I'll just Google that. I've been Googling since I was a kid. I'm just already feeling dated reading this book. I feel aged. That is all. I'm back. Her grandma pointed out at a place and said, oh, that place used to be a froyo place. And Voya had the nerve to say, Didn't everything used to be a froyo place when you were younger? I don't know how I feel right now. I'm feeling like a grandmother. I don't know how I can move on from this. I have already said that used to be a froyo place. Right now, I'm already doing that. I need a moment to grieve my youth. Excuse me. Good morning, or rather, good afternoon. It is Halloween. Happy Halloween. You know, I meant to post this vlog today, but alas, it was not meant to be. I just have not finished Blood Like Magic yet. I wanted to get farther in it than I did yesterday, but I was just like suffering from a headache, and it was really hard to like read without hurting my head. So I have been switching between the physical copy, an ebook I got from my library, and an audiobook that I found on Script. So I'm about halfway, maybe like 40% of the way through the book, hoping I can get it mostly done today, if not tomorrow. I'm about to run some errands and listen to the audiobook as I do so. First and foremost is coffee. Very important. I went to a Halloween party gathering yesterday. I have not been to a gathering, a larger gathering in a long time, obviously because of COVID. And I did not get home until like 2 in the morning, and I'm very tired. It's also that time of month. So I'm just feeling extra blah. But yeah, coffee is a must. And then I'm gonna go to Trader Joe's. And then I'm gonna go to the library. And then maybe Goodwill and check out the used book section a little bit. But yeah, maybe I'll take you along on this journey if I remember to vlog, which I usually have a hard time doing. But anyways, so I did not take you guys around with me as I ran errands. Like I said, I was maybe going to. Sorry, I know you were literally waiting and dying to see me running errands. But anyways, I'm now 60% of the way through Blood Like Magic. I don't know why I said Blood Like Magic. I feel like I'm losing my mind today. Anyways, I am 60% of the way through Blood Like Magic, and I'm really liking this. You know, it was a bit slow for me at the beginning, but I'm really liking it. I'm really digging the like commentary. I say commentary, but what are they commentating on? So Voya, our protagonist, she is known to be very indecisive and have a hard time making choices about her own life. She's like really like a go-getter when it comes to other people and her family and people that she cares about. but when it comes to choosing things about her own life, she has like a really hard time. And I was like, man, that's kind of relatable. She kind of reminds me a lot of me when I was younger. So I was like, dang, she's really going through it. Obviously, like, she has to kill somebody. So she's like, oh man. And like no one in her family is like really believing in her right now. It's like difficult because her family, the Thomases, are like a pure family, meaning that they don't harm or kill others for like their rituals, which if you do, it like strengthens your powers and you're stronger. And there are other like witch families that do so. But once Voya's grandma became the matriarch of their family, she decided to make the entire Thomases like a pure family. They're no longer, you know, doing these like impure rituals. And so it's like hard on everyone because it's like she has to kill. And the thing is too, it's not just like Voya has to do this in order to get her powers. It's her entire family will lose their powers if she doesn't do this. So it's like the weight of everyone is on her shoulders, not just herself. And so it's just like so like hard for everyone, and it's tough, and there's like a lot of like family secrets, and just it's sad. There was like, I just finished reading like this kind of emotional scene, and I was like, damn. Yeah, this is like very gripping because I'm like, what's gonna happen, you know? Because the actual phrase of the task that she's been given is like, you must destroy your first love. So it's like, what does destroy mean? Obviously everyone's interpreting it as killing, but I feel like destruction could be another thing. But is that better? Like if you're ruining someone's life? I don't know. I mean, obviously they won't be dead, so obviously that's better, but it's just really interesting. And I'm like, what's gonna happen? What is gonna happen? But yeah, I think I have like a little under 200 pages left. This book is also kind of giant. It's nearly 500 pages, but yeah, I'm liking it. And probably the next time I update y'all is either if something really dramatic happens or when I'm done with the book. So hello, I'm looking very, very messy. But I finished Blood Like Magic a few days ago, actually. I've been procrastinating filming this last clip, wrapping this video up. But this is the only clip left I have to add to Final Cut Pro. So here I am. I finished it and I gave this one 4.5 stars. I really liked it. It was very good. There was a twist and it was wild. It made sense though. And part of me like wondered if I was in this situation, would I make the same choice? And I think that I would have. So that's very interesting, but I highly recommend this one. It's very good, especially for those of you that are fans of like Legendborn and A Song of Wraiths and Ruin and those books, those recent books that have come out. I think you'll really enjoy this one. Oh man, I'm very excited for the next book. I'm kind of like trying to figure out if I can get an arc of this somehow, maybe on NetGalley, because I'm so curious to see how things are going to end. And I think it's a duology, so the next book is the conclusion. And yeah, here we are at the end, finally. It is literally daylight savings today, and it's so dark already. It's like 4 p.m. I'm trying to like stand right by my window to get some light, but yeah. This vlog was, I'd say, partially successful. 2 books I liked, 2 books that were meh. Yeah, 50%. If we were giving this a grade, that would be a D. But actually, that would be an F. But that's okay. That's okay. Be sure to check out my social media links in the description below. And I'll catch y'all in the next video.